Most men live lives of quiet desperation and go to the grave with their songs still in them. Henry David Thoreau. We are at a crossroads of humanity when all that we have been indoctrinated to will fail almost inexplicably. Millions of people will have their world turned upside down and have the main motivator for all their life choices, the dollar, suddenly fail them. But it will not be the financial losses or the inevitable anger and violence that they will ultimately succumb to. It will be the lost time, opportunities, and passions that they wasted chasing an illusion that did not resonate with their soul. The one permanent emotion of the inferior man is fear. Fear of the unknown, the complex, and the inexplicable. What he wants above everything else is safety. H.L. Mencken. We have been conned into the idea that a dependent man is safe and that an independent man is crazy. We sacrifice everything to an insatiable collective for the illusion of safety. We actively or passively support the debt and death paradigm with every debt, vote, view, purchase, recruitment, and career. Behind every collective has a group of scheming men that know that their lives and power depend on getting others to willingly sacrifice their time, energy, and focus for the empowerment of others. So round and round we go, from one revolution of collectivists to another group of collectivists, each promising the moon while stealing your soul. I prefer dangerous freedom to peaceful slavery. Thomas Jefferson. It is time for an evolution and not another false revolution. An evolution of consciousness happens when we realize that the battle is not in the world with aggressive competing factions. It is in our minds and in what we empower. You see, we empower them. They do not control us. We give away our power to a faceless, uncaring collective that would in a heartbeat crush any individual just to keep the lie alive. It is this reality that is at the heart of all of our problems. This is not a financial, political, military war. It is a war of consciousness, nothing more, nothing less. The notion that a radical is one that hates his country is naive and usually idiotic. He is, more likely, one who likes his country more than the rest of us, and is thus more disturbed than the rest of us when he sees it debauched. He is not a bad citizen turning to crime. He is a good citizen driven to despair. H.L. Mencken. There would be no banking crisis if your money is not in their bank. There would be no war if your men weren't fooled into surrendering their humanity. There would be no corporate giants if we did not buy their goods or their corporate careers.
That's why I'm richer than you.
There would be no federal power if we did not encourage them with our support. All collectives fear an individual walking away because without them, there is no collective. The most dangerous man to any government is the man who is able to think things out without regard to the prevailing superstitions and taboos. Almost inevitably, he comes to the conclusion that the government he lives under is dishonest, insane, and intolerable. H.L. Mencken. Studies have shown, like the Milgram experiment or the Stanford prison experiment, that the average person is so indoctrinated to obey authority that the majority would cause serious harm or even kill an innocent individual so long as an authority figure told them it was okay. But what is often not shown is those exact same studies show that the answer is in individuals questioning authority and refusing to play their schemes. The more powerful and influential the voice of the dissent, the more others will listen. The line dividing good and evil cuts through the heart of every human being. Alexander Solzhenitsyn. The answer has always been at our feet. We need to see the power that is within us to change our world by changing ourselves. We cannot change the outside world to make ourselves happy or free. We can only change ourselves to make the world happy and free. How can you expect a man who's warm to understand one who's cold? Alexander Solzhenitsyn. You do not have to wait for humanity to come to this reality generations from now. If you want peace, cultivate peace in your house. If you want respect, respect others. You have it in your power with every thought, relationship, investment, and action to immediately and permanently change your world. Stop listening to them with their toxic thoughts and distractions. Cut out detestable relationships that poison our lives. Get real about what wealth is and why we acquire it.
And I think that we have the power within ourselves to really put a different conscious solution out there. And I challenge all of you to stop thinking in terms of dollars and start thinking about how you can be a blessing in the next paradigm when the world is going to need our solutions.
Wealth should not be stored up like a dam. It should be a river that flows and spreads with abundance to all those that you resonate with. Instead, we've been conned into enabling the worst in our society, as they whisper in our ear, there is no other way.
That's why I'm richer than you.
Well, there is another way, and it starts with you simply saying no more. Not one more debt, not one more lie, not one more death, not one more psychopath, not one more day slaving on. A vote of no confidence every day and in every way is active resistance. But resistance is not enough. You must live your life to the highest potential. There is a vitality, a life force, a quickening that is translated through you into action. And there is only one of you in all time. This expression is unique. And if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium, and it will be lost. Martha Graham. Ideas and movements are best served by people walking their path in peace, rather than conflicting with others on how they should live their lives. Resonating power attracts others with their ideas and energy. The opposite consciousness of our collective problems is the individual moving to their own beat and doing things that make them happy. Far too many slave away in their little lives, bowing to little lies. It is far better to dance and be happy than sacrificing 30 of your best years to an illusionary carrot that was stolen long ago. You were well trained to sit down, don't talk, do as you're told. This is the reality of our indoctrination, in our relationships, our schools, and our jobs. Your solution is to move, speak out, and do things that are only logical. Your courage of truth will awaken something that is lost in others, and that will create a positive feedback loop that will take a life all of its own. This conscious evolution will create generational wealth as the abundance mentality empowers the best in our lives and exacts revenge on the cancerous parts of our society by simply withdrawing our energy from them. Do not go gentle into the good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Dylan Thomas. By doing what you love and resonating with good people, this is actually the best way to find success in this and the next paradigm. There are a lot of talented people either doing things that they're not good at or feeding their life's energy to those that don't empower them. Redirecting your energy into things that come natural to you and giving that abundance to those worthy of it is the best way to get support, interest, and opportunities in your life. Adam Smith's invisible hand is simply an economic expression of those doing what comes best to them are far more productive and encouraged than those that are stuck as an indoctrinated individual forced into a collective's need. A consciously aware individual that has nothing but a passion and good friends that resonate and encourage them are going to be miles ahead of the disillusioned, closed-off, indoctrinated masses that will have everything ripped from their face. As the rest of society burns through the anger, bargaining, and depression stage of the awakening, those consciously aware individuals will be able to see the opportunities at their feet, while most of humanity will be stuck thinking about the opportunities lost. This shift in consciousness will change humanity far more than the agricultural, industrial, and communications revolutions. Every age has its particular folly, some scheme, project, or fantasy into which it plunges, spurred on by the love of gain, and the necessity of excitement, or the force of intimidation. Charles Mackay. 100 years ago, our society's consciousness was changed dramatically from the independent, resonating, close-knit communities to what we are today. With the creation of the Federal Reserve, the income tax, and the IRS, we are now the embodiment of the dreams of men like the Rothschilds, the Morgans, and the Rockefellers. Indoctrinated, narcissistic, debt-ridden consumers. They needed us to fit their greedy nature for more. They needed us to willingly empower their schemes. That is why so much of business, politics, and wars are not spent on products, policies, or bombs. It is on winning the hearts and minds of those that they seek to conquer. Why is it that they see the power that you have and you don't? You cannot solve a problem with the same consciousness that created the problem. You must see the world anew. Humanity always does the right thing after they have exhausted all the alternatives.
Египтом, вот нам говорят, правили фараоны. Да фараоны это были мальчики, несмышленыши. Реальными правителями Египта было древнее египетское жречество. И вот они, владея тайными знаниями, которые принадлежали только им и которые они скрывали от остальных людей, они позволяли манипулировать сознанием не только неграмотной толпы, как там жрецы охмурили даже самого фараона и убили его.
We have been consciously moving further and further away from overt tyranny of an elite to a more softer, subtle means of domination. I am hopeful that after this largest and most pervasive illusion of power is wiped clean, that individuals will see that waste and horror that it produces is a cause for a conscious evolution that would seek a balanced, resonating way of life, where people do what they promise, exchange value for value, and do no harm. It has been well said that men think in herds. It will also be seen that they go mad in herds, while they only recover their senses slowly and one by one. Charles Mackay. After enough people get burned by the intangible debt-based money, they will find value in real wealth. After enough people get burned by the collective, they will find the value in real people who care about them and empower them. After enough people die for lies, they will wake up to the truth that has been whispering to them all along and realize that they only needed to be so brave enough to listen. All know the way, but few actually walk it. This is what's coming for humanity. And for some it can start today, and others it may take a few wasted generations. All it takes is the trivium to logically question your reality and your path in life. Once you have clarity, you only need to walk it. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Robert Frost.